Um, Hello, everybody. My name is Marco. I'm going to be one of your instructors, like I hinted at before. The other one will be a guy named Robin, who's super cool too, so don't worry about it. Um, a little about me before we get started. So, I went to Full Stack Academy. I graduated April 2018, and now I am a front end software engineer at New York Life. And before full stack I was doing like construction, and I worked in a warehouse and was doing some side jobs, things like that. So nothing really related to computer science. So full stack was a major job transition for me, like career field wise. So I like to think that if I can do something like this, then anybody can learn this stuff. So nice to meet everybody. um, yeah, so we'll get started. So today, just like a heads up, today is going to be really easy. Okay, it's going to be easy, and everyone's going to finish really early. Okay, so when you finish early, you can just leave. Okay, if you want to slack me or talk to me privately or something, then I'll stick around until the end of the time allotted. But once you're done, you can go. It's fine. Okay. Tomorrow will be a lot harder. Today is easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how this program actually how this program actually works, as well as going over. We're going to look at some code. Okay. So I hope everyone did the. There's like a pre. There's like a what is it? There's like a pre work that you guys should have been doing. I hope you all did that. If you didn't, it's fine. You still have time to do it. Um, but yeah, so let me share my screen and then we'll get to it. Can everybody see my screen? Just do this.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Can everyone still see my screen? Because now I got some slides up. We're
Yes.
getting into
Yep.
the slides. Okay, cool. So basically, welcome to Bootcamp Prep, right? So this is going to be the overview of the topics we'll be learning, and the numbers on the side will be like the days, right? So today we're doing introduction and tidy code. Then you'll worry about loops and debugging, then coercion, scope, arrays, objects, value versus reference, higher order functions, and recursion, and then next steps and the happy hour. However, since we're all remote, we won't be doing a happy hour. I'm sorry to say that, and it's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes. So this is kind of like the overview layout of how things will be. If you ever have any questions on this in the future, just let me know, and I'll just answer in a second. Right. So yeah, so the course overview format. So basically, what we're going to do is for every day, we're going to have one assigned topic, right? And for every single topic, there is going to be a pre recorded lecture that you should do beforehand. And since we're in a pandemic, I'm sure everyone has time for this, okay? And I really recommend you do it. Of course, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I'm not going to check if you do this or not, because it's just kind of a video you need to watch. But I really recommend you do it to get the most out of the course, okay? So watch the pre-recorded lecture, and they kind of give you a little oversight of what you will be learning with me or Robin during the actual lecture. And the actual lecture is required, okay? So that's the interactive lecture that you're living through that right now, okay? So this is the interactive lecture. I'll talk about whatever the topic is for today. And then after I'm done talking, the rest of the time, so the time is from 6:40 to 9:40, right? Monday through Thursday, except you have class this Friday because Memorial Day is in this month block. So after I'm done speaking to you, you will break up into pairs, and I'll put you in Zoom breakout rooms, and you'll work through workshop problems together, okay? And after you're done, you can finish early then too, any other day when you and your partner are done. Cool, go hang out, whatever. But after 9:40, I will put up solutions for all of the questions you did, and then there will also be solution videos, okay? So I really recommend going through those solution videos as well as reading through the solution code, okay? Any questions so far? This is the general, like, what our day is going to look like, okay? Okay. So workshops. So workshops, let me tell you something right now. A lot of you are going to be really frustrated when you're doing these workshops. However, the workshops aren't intended to be finished. They're hard, okay? There's like a workshop is going to have like maybe 6, 7 problems, right? Problem 1 will be easy. Problem 2 will be easy. Problem 7 and 6 will not be easy, okay? So if you can't get them, relax. Don't bang your head against the wall for like 30 minutes trying to solve one thing, right? Go on to the next one, okay? And also, you can always ask me for help. And I know there's like 25 of you, but if I'm busy, then there's something called the help desk. Do you see, like let's say I go into the pre-work, right? Do you see, uh, do you see this button over here? You see this, right? You click this button, you click this button, and you say, hello, you won't have this option here because you're in a cohort. This is just because I'm an instructor. But you say, hey, I have a question. Help me now, you know, in like breakout room, whatever number you are, and so on and so forth. Then this question will be posted to a queue of questions, and then we actually have fellows in other places that will come in and help you. Okay, and they're current fellows are people who just graduated from Full Stack and have signed on for the Full Stack Fellowship program. Okay, so that's how that works. So if I'm busy, then the help desk is always available to you. People always forget to get the help desk. Like seriously, if you message me privately and I'm helping somebody else, I'm just not going to answer you until I'm done. You know? Okay. So enough of that. So yeah, I mean, you don't really need to do this, I guess. Add your picture to LearnDot to help instructors find you during help tickets. So this is more useful if we were in person, because I would say upload a picture of yourself for your like profile for LearnDot. So if you post a help ticket and then a fellow comes into the room and there's like 30 people, they know who they're looking for, you know. But since we're all in like breakout rooms, I'm not gonna. You guys don't really need to do that unless you want to. On other stuff. Okay. So now let's talk about what the workshops actually will be, right? So we're going to be doing pair programming in each workshop. I don't know if you're familiar with pair programming, but if you're not, let me explain it to you, right? So basically, you're going to have 2 programmers, sometimes 3 if there's an odd number, whatever. So you're going to have 2 programmers. One will be the driver and one will be the navigator. The driver is the person that's typing, you know, that's typing on the keyboard, right? But they're not actually supposed to be doing what they want to do. They're supposed to be doing whatever the navigator is communicating to them, okay? And that's kind of how it works, okay? So what I recommend you doing is you switch off after, I know this says switch off every 10 minutes. I recommend you just doing full problems, you know, like switch off after every problem. I think that's better. Some people don't even like switching off. Some people just like doing it together. It's up to you. This isn't rigid, but if you do adapt this kind of system, it helps you learn better, okay? Because the person that's explaining to you, the other person will have to talk about code. And when you talk about code, that's actually a lot more difficult than it might sound, okay? Because you might be thinking something correctly, but when you can actually explain something to another human being, that's when you know that you've really got it, okay? And this is kind of how how Full Stack operates, right? We have a teach to learn like policy, I guess. So the whole workshop and pair programming thing is going to stick with you until you're done with the bootcamp, okay? So at Full Stack, you will be switching partners for every workshop, okay? So you get randomly assigned, all right? Hope that's cool with everybody. So why are we doing pair programming? Shouldn't you practice on your own? Because I know what you're all thinking, right? Like, when I was in high school and college, like group projects were the absolute worst. I hated them. I hated working with other people because I just thought I could do it better myself, right? And you might be right. However, always, you don't know everything, right? And working with another person will help you learn more. Teach to learn is a central aspect of Full Stack's instructional philosophy, right? So communicating about code is just as, if not more, important than actually writing it. Now, let me throw a scenario at you, right? When you are all done with bootcamp prep, and then you go into the bootcamp, and then you become professional software engineers, will you be working by yourself or on a team of developers, right? You'll be working on a team of devs. So communicating your code, like if you were charged with the task of writing some kind of feature, and then they say, why did you do this like this, and you know this is the correct way to do it, but you can't articulate to them why, then you'll be shut down, right? So you have to really learn how to communicate your thought process and like learn the programming lingo, right? That's very important. Solving problems with a partner is also the best way to prepare for an admissions interview at a top boot camp. This slide should be changed. It should be just an interview in general, okay? So let me paint another picture for you. Full Stack Academy. The second round interview will be a Zoom meeting one-on-one with a fellow, right? You'll have to go through problems with them, and it's going to be a lot like pair programming. You're going to have to bounce ideas off them, and if they don't think you work well with other people, then they might not let you in, right? Let me paint you another picture. Besides boot camps, you go and apply to a job at Google. You have 4 rounds of interviewing. The third and fourth round will be in-person technical interviews where you have to solve a bunch of problems with interviewers in front of you, right? If they don't think that you work well together, they're not going to give you the job. That's just how it goes, you know? Because people want team players, and this is a great way to practice working with other people, right? Any questions on pair programming?
No.
I know I'm talking fast. Let me know, honestly. We have time.
No, sounds straightforward.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, honestly. So, also, I know I said we'll be doing these workshops all the time, but also, on your own time, there are 2 optional projects that will be introduced during the course, okay? When I say optional, I mean you don't have to do them. If you don't do them, I really don't care, you know? Do whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you. However, I really recommend you do them because it gives you an opportunity to take things that you were learning here and there from this course and build a more complex application, okay? It's actually really good. So when you're done with when the project is released to you, you do it in your own code editor or you do it in a REPL or something, and then you send it to me or you send it to Robin. That's what you do. And then I will look at your code, I'll read through it, and I'll make some comments. Say like, hey, this is good, this is bad, I love you, I hate you, whatever, you know? So that's the project. You don't have to do them, but I really recommend you do, okay? Okay. So practice assessments. So practice assessments are meant to prepare you for the real admissions assessment, okay? So if you were not taking this course and you wanted to apply to Full Stack Academy, you would go on their website and you would download and you would take the practice assessment or whatever, okay? Not the practice, you would take the actual assessment, right? The practice assessments, we have 2 of them, mimic that. It is the same format, not the same questions, obviously, but the same format, the same style, the same environment, the same time limit, the same everything, okay? We basically give you a 3-time chance, okay? You get 3 tries. Well, not really, 2 tries. So the first practice assessment that will be available to you on the last day counts for nothing, okay? That is just for your own practice. You get new problems and you get to know the environment because you'll be taking the test in a different environment than you'll be taking the workshop problems, okay? So you get to familiarize yourself with that environment and you get to work under a time limit, okay? And then the second practice assessment, that one, if you do badly on it, no one cares, okay? Nobody cares if you do bad on that. On the second test, if you do well, though, you move on to the second interview process with Full Stack, okay? If you do badly on the second practice assessment, then you just apply through the website like normal, okay? So this is kind of like you get the little practice run, then you get your first chance, and then you're on your own, pretty much. Your last chance is through the website. Any questions on this?
No.
All right, cool. So we have some Full Stack community values, right? So be patient with other people, okay? Like someone might not get something as quickly as you, so be patient with them, okay? And I feel like that goes without saying. I mean, you know. But also that sometimes people don't like realize, be patient with yourself as well. If you think that you can't get something, or if your partner is very quick on the uptake and you're just not, right? Then relax, okay? It's fine. If you saw me back when I was learning this stuff, then you would lose all your anxiety immediately because I was very slow at learning all of this stuff. Well, not too slow, but like, whatever. I wasn't the quickest person, I guess, getting all this stuff. So be patient with yourself. It's fine, okay? This stuff is really, I wouldn't say hard. I think it's just different, okay? And you'll adapt to it, I promise. So definitely trust the process and be on time, right? I'm trying to start at 6:40 every night or whatever because that's just what it is. So hopefully you can be there in time. Help others, teach each other. Also, just I have to say this. Be mindful of subtle isms. Like sexism, racism, ageism. Be professional. We have a no asshole policy. We do take this into consideration when during this course and when you're applying. Honestly, just be like a normal person. Don't be an asshole. I don't know what else to say. Okay. And no suitable for work content. When in doubt, leave it out. All right. Any questions on the community values? I will take your silence as a no. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to get into it. Why JavaScript, right? So JavaScript is actually the most popular language in the world, according to this slide, okay? So basically, when you look over here, JavaScript takes up 71.5%, right? And then you have HTML, CSS, SQL, Java, yada, 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 yada. Ruby is also great for beginners, but it is much less widely used. This is a fact. JavaScript is so popular is because the entire internet basically runs on JavaScript. That's like current web dev, okay? So Atwood's law says that anything that can be written in JavaScript will eventually be written in JavaScript, okay? And it runs anywhere on the full stack web. So let me just tell you right now, briefly, before the introduction of something called Node, JavaScript was only in your browser, okay? But then this thing Node came out, and then suddenly we can run, a server with JavaScript, and we could also connect to a database with JavaScript. So now JavaScript can be used across the whole package. If you didn't really understand what I just said, don't worry about it. It's fine. But I'm just saying, that's what that means right there. And also, the first 7 out of 10 of JavaScript is relatively learner-friendly, okay? So that's why we teach JavaScript here, okay? Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to be referencing like ES5 and then ES6, right? So when I say ES6 or ESNext, I say ES6. These are just different versions of JavaScript, okay? So like, for example, I'm sure you saw in the bootcamp pre-work or whatever, this function keyword, right? So this is still allowed, right? But however, with ES6, you can actually make a function like this with 2 open close parentheses, an equal sign, and a greater than sign. We call this a fat arrow, and then open close curly brace, okay? So JavaScript versions are backwards compatible, and older features will work in newer environments. However, newer features may not always work in older environments. So be wary of that, okay? Full Stack does teach ES6, so, yeah. So now let me talk to you quickly about getting the most from this course. Complete the bootcamp prep pre-work curriculum first, okay? If you didn't do that, that's fine. You have all day tomorrow. I mean, if you have a job, then you don't have all day tomorrow, but you have all night tonight, and then right before this class starts to do that, and kind of through the week. Kind of just pick at it if you haven't done it yet, okay? Really recommend you doing that, okay? You don't have to do it, but it is a good way to get the most out of this course. So do the pre-readings and the pre-recorded lectures before each class. I really recommend this. It'll give you a little hindsight of what we'll be talking about in actual class, right? Enjoy the productive struggle. Now this is like more of like an abstract thing, but like this is going to be hard, right? This is going to be difficult, but try and like enjoy the fact that you're trying to. I don't know what kind of background you're all coming from, but like if you're trying to change your life in a way, like that's exciting. It's fun, right? So if you just try and keep that in the back of your head when you're getting really frustrated, okay? Because it's going to happen a lot. All right. So just ask for help when you need it. Ask me for help whenever you want. You can Slack me and you can Slack Robin for help whenever you want. Okay, like I'm on Slack. I got Slack on my phone. Okay, I'll answer you. Relax. Okay, you can ask me for help whenever you want. You can also ask your classmates. Everyone has access to Slack, so you can message each other. You know what I mean? But don't be afraid and keep the question in. That's the main thing. Also, don't look at solutions until you give a problem an honest try. Like let's say you only got 3 out of 7 questions for the workshop, right? And then I post the solutions, so you just look at the solutions. Don't do that. It's detrimental to your own like learning, right? You want to try yourself before you look at the solutions. It's just I don't know. That's what I think that you should do. Also, go back and finish unfinished workshop problems, in my opinion, if you want to study more. That's what I think that will solidify your understanding even more. Maybe something that you didn't really get or you got, but you don't know how you got it now, and then in 2 weeks, go back and do that, and you'll see how well you progressed, and also will solidify little things that you missed before when you learned it the first time. Okay? Also watch the solution videos, even for problems that you got right. Listen, the solution videos solve these problems in different ways. Okay? They solve them in different ways. It's not going to be the same as the solution code that's in front of you, all right? So I definitely recommend you looking through those because it'll help you expand your mind on how to solve these problems. Okay? So, any questions on the course before we go into like tidy code, which is today's topic?
All good, thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if it's not related exactly to this, but in the Slack, there is any specific channel that we should be at? Or
in Slack?
I mean, yeah.
So in Slack, you should be in this channel. 2005-FSA-NY-BCP-MO. This is the Slack channel you should all be in, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, so now let's talk about tidy code. So why write tidy code? So this is actually, I hate to say it, but this is gonna this whole from here on out, like this lecture and then the workshop, this is gonna seem like a drag. It kind of is. It's gonna be like annoying, like because tidy code is kind of just indentation and variable naming. However, this is really, really important. Okay, it really is. Because engineers actually spend more time reading code than writing. And this is true, okay? So when you are writing, let's say, 10,000 lines of code for an application, right? It's like your production application, whatever. You want to make sure that everything looks well so that somebody else that comes in can read it and see what you're doing. If there's a bug, you can read it and see like, oh, okay, this is going to take me 10 minutes instead of 10 days. You know what I mean? So tidy code is actually really important. It also shows a sign for professionalism. Attention to detail shows that you have a pride in your work if you work tidy. This is all good for job interviews, right? So just keep that in mind. So, indentation. Indent one level inside every code block, okay? Code blocks start and end with a curly brace, right? So, let's say I have this function, amazing function, right? So, I say the function keyword, and then a name. This is going to be the name of the function. And then an open close parenthesis, because that's what you do with functions, right? And then I see right here this open curly brace, right? This open curly brace signals to me as a developer that, okay, we're opening up a code block, right? So that means everything underneath here should be tabbed over, okay? One tab over, two spaces, one tab, two spaces, one tab, okay? Well, it doesn't really matter, but it should be tabbed over one, everything inside of here. But hold on a second, what is inside of here? We have a conditional expression, or an if statement, okay? So an if statement would say if true, another curly brace. We have another code block. So that means everything that goes inside of this if statement should be tabbed over one from here, okay? And then when you close the curly brace, that closing curly brace should be in line with that if. It should be in line with the first letter of the line that opened it, right? Just like when we close the actual function, this is in line with the F, right? And this is important, okay? This is really important. When you open up your curly brace, you press enter to get the new line, you tab over once. Just do it, okay? It's honestly, like, it's gonna make your life easier, trust me. So when we run amazing function, we go inside here, if true, we console.log, this function is amazing, so we see that inside of the console. Just a refresher, I think it's a refresher, I don't know if you know it or not. Console.log is just something that is universally available to you. Anything you put inside of it will be printed in the console, and it returns nothing, okay? So also, besides indentation, we have variable name. So we want to use camel case when defining variable names. That's just JavaScript like 101, okay? So let my favorite place equal the string full stack, okay? So as you can see, when I say camel case, the first letter is lowercase, and then since obviously, because variable name, let me tell you something now. Variable naming doesn't really have anything to do with computers. It has to do with the people that are reading the code, okay? So I, as a human, can tell that this is 3 words, right? My favorite place. So the first word is always lowercase, but every other word should be capitalized, okay? Don't use ambiguous variable names. Let x equal 68. Why would you do that to yourself? Think about it. Let's say you have to write a really complicated function where you have to define like 6 variables and then do a bunch of weird looping and other stuff down below, right? And then you named it x, y, a, c. Like, why would you do that to yourself? You should name things that represent what the value they contain, right? So like, let current temp, right? Current temperature, 68. So now I know throughout my code that this will be the current temp, okay? And that's what I'm working with, okay? And it's okay to use short variable names, however, for like counters, like an I in a for loop. So I don't know if you know what a for loop is yet, or saw it in the bootcamp, pre-prep bootcamp, whatever thing. But this is what a for loop looks like. So basically what it looks like, we have the for keyword, then we have open close parentheses here, and then we have a whole bunch of weird nonsense that looks like nonsense to you, right? But just focus on this right here. Let I equal 1. I is going to be the thing that we're counting inside of the for loop, okay? And we go until I is less than equal 3 is no longer true, and we add 1 to I every time. That's just what's going on. I don't want you to really focus on this right now, because this is what tomorrow's lecture is for. But as you can see, we console.log I, and we get 1, 2, 3 in the console. And you see I is just going to be incremented by 1 every time. So we're not going to name it something like incrementing variable that I want to increase by 1, or something like that, you know? Like, I is fine if it's just going to be a number and you know it's going to change everything, you know what I mean? So things like that, counters or incrementers, something like that, you know? You can leave it as I. Usually it's I, specifically in for loops, for, I think, index, or maybe iterator, but like I is pretty much the your go-to. And I hate to say it, but we're done. That's all I have to say. Any questions on what I just yelled to you through my computer? Any questions?
I have a question. You mentioned that for each subject for each lesson, there's going to be like pre-work. How many hours does that all come together as?
So the pre-work is actually like it's like a video. I don't actually know how long the videos are. If because I never watched them, but like if I had a guess, I would say like 20-30 minutes. Yeah, you're not looking at like 3 hours of work before this. No. It's just kind of like a video that you watch or do some reading or something before here. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha.
Could you repeat the Slack channel or send like an invite to it again? Because I'm just on like a general. I don't see any other channels. It's 2005 FSA something.
Yeah, it's hold on a second.
I couldn't see the link in my email.
It's okay. It's okay.
Or in the chat or something.
Just typing the whole thing out. So I'll send it to a message to everybody.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. So that's if you look at your if you look at the chat, it has the name of the Slack. Okay. Any other questions? No?